All right. Welcome to the Grigg and Rig Show, everybody. This is episode 4, and today we'll be discussing the disappointingly mediocre Minnesota Timberwolves that are on the midway mark of the season here. But the good news is we have a very, very special guest that's going to be joining us to help us analyze yet another soul-crushing year of Wolves fandom. Mr. Hot Takes himself, our friend, Joel. Joel, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing well, boys. It's good to see you. I'm excited. Glad this is happening.
Viggy doesn't
Ready to
look
lay
like
down
he
some
could be any
takes.
less excited.
Yeah, man, it's been long awaited having Joel on here and talk about. Us three have very good, very riveting basketball debates, hot takes, as Griff said. Well, it's good to kind of get that onto a online forum here, see what we can chop up. So
I think the podcast was my idea. I think I was right because I pushed you guys to get it going.
I think you were the biggest proponent of it. Like you were pushing it the hardest for sure.
Maybe it wasn't my idea. Okay,
it might have been. I don't know. I'm not trying to give you.
You want to claim it? There for you, yeah. If you want to claim it, go ahead.
Our patron. But yeah, let's kind of dig into the season, I guess. What are your guys' kind of thoughts so far? Wolves set 24-25. They're playing the Pelicans right now. I think are they still losing, Vig?
They're down by 6.5. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. It's gonna be a close game, hopefully. See.
It's certainly not what we were hoping for this year because, I mean, coming into the year, obviously mixed feelings about the Gobert trade in a lot of different corners of people talking in the NBA. But like that, we thought we'd for sure be better off. Obviously, Cat, being injured, it's a double-edged sword. On one end, Ant is really prospering. He's really, up in his game, and that's what we were hoping for. But not at the expense of losing Cat, right? So that is, double-edged sword. But based on where we left off last year, especially with our playoff, we made the playoffs. Like, it's just disappointing. It's about on par with every other Wolves season. But you really think that like we were ready last year? Because I remember we were talking during the Memphis series, and like we were like, we can take these guys. Like we can hang with the Memphis Grizzlies, and I think they're sitting atop the Western Conference right now. Obviously better than last year, but I remember watching those early games in the series and thinking like, yeah, we could actually take these guys out, make it to the next round. But obviously that didn't happen. We were a little newer team put together later, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Is there some hope in this season? I think I'm thinking maybe we picked the wrong time to play the win now card. Personally,
yeah, I think the person that we picked to trade all our capital for is something that can be debated. I don't know to what extent we could have gotten somebody else with what we packaged to get Gobert, but I know that DeJounte Murray was an option, I think, at some point, and he got a similar package, or the Spurs got a similar package from the Hawks that we gave the Jazz, honestly, to get DeJounte Murray, and one could argue that if we were to find a way to get D'Lo out of town before the season, DeJounte could have replaced him as that one. And kind of, if we keep everything else the same, probably not having to trade Vanderbilt, Beasley, and Beverly, maybe Kessler, I don't know. Probably the first round pick we'd get rid of. But I think just having that flexibility to where we still keep some of our essential role players / even starters. I know Vando started for a while. Just getting somebody else, like another star in there, see how things go where we don't have to sacrifice. We sacrificed many years of picks, but we would sacrifice our depth that we ended up giving away. And who now for Utah are doing pretty good for themselves. Honestly, I think Malik's a popular trade target for many teams. His deadline itself, we'll get into trade deadline stuff later. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of what ifs with this season because, as you mentioned, Joel Cat's been out for 2 months now. Just seeing how Ants has grown this year has been incredible in terms of just how much of a bulldozer he is getting down to the lane. His shot is still on and off to an extent, but he still can get hot just with any of the other greats in the NBA. I think there have been some bright spots like Taurean Prince whenever he plays. He's been pretty good for us, kind of steadying the ship. Kyle Anderson and Austin Rivers have been pretty good veteran presences the last month or so. There are some positives, I think, with the season, but also considering the standings where we're still kind of everybody's muddled in that 5th to 13th place. There's only a few games separating all those teams. Considering our schedule coming up, we'll see if we have the ability to make a run. But yeah, there are some positives, there's some negatives. Obviously, the Gobert thing is the biggest thing. Griff, what are your thoughts on just in general that trade and what we can look back on now?
I remember when it happened initially, I was just appalled. It was, all the picks and then all the players. It was a lot. It was just kind of staggering because of the sticker shock. And then I feel like I kind of talked myself into it because I was Cap kind of makes more sense at the 4 because then he doesn't have to rebound as well, and he's always a liability at the 5 defensively. And Rudy's the ultimate. He was thought of as the ultimate floor raiser in the regular season, right? The idea is that, okay, if you get Gobert, you're going to be a top 10 defense at minimum. Utah had really good offenses as well with Gobert running spread pick and roll. And the fit with D'Lo was super intriguing. You're turning your weakest star, quote unquote, into potentially a really good player like D'Lo and the Gobert kind of pairing, which has not connected really at all, which I think has probably been the biggest disappointment in the season for me. Because I thought, he'd be kind of like the Jared Allen connection that D'Lo had in Brooklyn. I will say, I don't know if the Murray trade would have been really any better because I do feel like the biggest positive takeaway from this season is that it seems like our best lineup has been Ant at the 1, surrounded by big wings. I think the highest rated net lineup, and it's not in a lot of minutes, but it's Ant, McDaniels at the 2, Prince, Anderson, and Gobert, which is just defense and passing and things like that. And DeJounte, so you're taking the ball out of Ant's hand if DeJounte has it, and DeJounte is, I don't think, proven to be very good off the ball, which is why Atlanta is around 500 too. So,
that's the thing though with Atlanta. They're a weird team already as is with their build and whatnot. I don't know what his off-ball stats are, DeJounte's are this year. I do think though that with his defensive versatility, guarding 1 through 3, maybe 4. I don't know if he can guard 4s, probably not. But his versatility combined with kind of being able to share on-ball responsibility, bringing the ball up and finishing the offense would have been nice. I don't think we need to get too much in the hypotheticals about a scenario that obviously didn't happen. They're going to occur. But I think with Rudy, though, it definitely regards to the fit. It's, as you said, Griff, the D'Lo Gobert connection, you would have figured that'd be nice considering what, as you said, with Jared Allen in Brooklyn in 2018, what they had. D'Lo was an all-star that year. He was kind of up his stock. That was the peak of his career so far, whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just part of me feels not to psychoanalyze too much, but I feel I don't know if the players on our team respect Rudy quite yet in terms of just, I don't know if he's his presence is obviously pretty commanding just because of what he's accomplished. Not to mention how big he is, just a big guy who's done a lot, and we gave up a lot to get him. And yet, I don't know if the team has just meshed with him quite well with where we have a couple young guys like Jaden and Ants, and we have some veterans that are kind of sprinkled in there. Cat's already an all-NBA center. You're getting in a second all-NBA center now with that. I think Cat's a pretty jovial guy, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of questions that still haven't been answered. So
obviously, I don't think Ant liked him before the trade.
Nope, he did not.
Because that was pretty out there. But the fit, you were kind of, well, not exactly, but you were hoping that a Twin Towers approach could be something like they have in Cleveland right now, where you have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. Obviously, Cat's not going to bring that same defensive prowess, but like you want, your twin towers to mesh like that because
Yeah, I
they're,
think Boston too. Boston kind of has that with Horford and Williams. They're kind
Mhm.
of Horford and Cat have
Yeah,
kind of
and I think that's part of the reason why it's maybe not working so well. When you bring in another center, obviously, Cat can, shoot the lights out, but he still needs to play that, um, second in the paint defender. And it's not there. And I guess, has he ever in the NBA really been able to do that as much as he did in college? Probably not. So
yeah.
that's one of the things. And obviously personalities, that takes time. One thing I will say though is that teams that assemble like a big three or baby four, maybe in our case, I don't know however you put it, but like they usually don't mesh the first year. They usually don't win anything. It's a lot of figuring stuff out. So I'm not going to say all hope's lost from the Gobert trade,
I
but
don't think so.
what puts us in a tough spot is Russell, because you either got to extend him or let him walk. And
Or
I don't
trade
know.
him.
He's had our trade him. He's had his presence here. Obviously, last year he was actually really important for our defense, and like he was really good at commanding the floor. We had a lot of young guys that really needed his prowess, but that's a tough situation too. So if you lose him, then who do we get to replace him? And I don't know. The fits. It's tough to make it work, and I don't know that I see it happening towards the end of this season or next season. Really, it's probably a little far out for next season, but
Yeah,
that's tough to say.
yeah, Joel, tying into your point about fit, I know that there was like I didn't read the full article. I know Griff, you might know about that John K article where he like interviewed a bunch of guys who played with Gobert over the years in Utah.
Yeah.
They talked about how they need to we need to exercise patience with regards to how he'll fit and how the team will kind of mesh probably in a year's time. Like how Conley, he didn't have a good first year with Rudy. It took him about a year to kind of get in the same page with him, And then second year they just were lights out. Conley made his first All-Star game. Jazz were the best team in the NBA. So I mean, there is definitely like in that sense a path towards where maybe things could work out better with fit and mesh, especially with a team that has you could say 3 alpha type players, maybe 4. I mean, D'Lo kind of plays like an alpha, even though he probably isn't.
He said he was
Good
an
enough.
alpha vig.
Hey, bro, he's always loading, man. He's always loading, bro.
Yeah,
But
it's continue.
The loading. Oh,
thing with him though on defense, I mean, this ties back to our defensive philosophies in general. When we traded for Rudy, we're kind of shifting from what we did last year, which is the high wall, just aggressive defense, where we're just kind of scrambling around, forcing defenses into tough situations. And now you're bringing in a guy who exclusively played drop coverage his whole career, is the best defender at it because the defense was structured around him. Where everybody would funnel any rim drives and whatnot, just any activity near the basket towards Rudy because he's so damn good at defending that.
It was like heliocentric, like defense almost.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Exactly. And now I think even at least those first 20 or so games, probably even less. I don't know how many games Cat played this year before getting hurt, but it seemed like we were kind of caught in between. Oh, okay.
Is Evan joining the call?
Cutting off my damn point.
Guys,
Yeah, turn your camera on, Ev.
How do I do that?
There's a button that says turn on camera. There it is.
There it is.
Oh,
Wow.
there we go.
how's it going, Ev?
That's a
I
lot
look
of
like an
glare.
angel with that light on. Oh, that's the fan.
Oh God.
We'll just edit that. Don't worry, we'll edit it out.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh. Ev, you gotta set up like me where I got like the light
Yeah, maybe
behind
put a
me
lighter
is,
colored
like...
T-shirt too.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
This is fine.
Works well. Sorry, Vic.
Something.
Oh, dude, I mean, I guess just with the defense and everything, I don't know if we're just kind of caught between what we did last year and what we wanted, what we probably should do more this year. The high wall versus drop. I think it's been confusing for defense for our players. I feel like half the guys, if not more, want to play what we played last year because it worked for them to an extent last year.
Yeah.
And now it's like I'm pretty sure we were. I don't remember what the stats were. I think our offense so far this year, I think we were 7th like offensive rating last year. This year we've been 11th so far, which is okay.
We're lower than
I think
that. We're 20th offensively.
Oh, are you serious?
We're 20th
Shoot.
offensively, and we're 13th in defense.
Okay, so maybe the defense. I think we didn't go up to an extent, but we thought we would with trading for
It's
Rudy.
because Cat's been out.
I mean, I don't think Cat being out. Like,
That's why our defense has been doing so well.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, Griff. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I just think that there's a lot of just like it's the fit thing. It all ties back to fit. It's just we played 50 games with this new squad, and right now they're only down by 2 though. Third quarter just started. I'll provide us with the live updates on tonight's game, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Let's go.
it's
Let's fucking
One thing. Go ahead, Griff.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, it's just so hard to judge because, like, yeah, just Cat being out really sucks. I think like the high point of the year was probably that Indiana game, like in Indiana, where like the starting 5 played and they just like dominated like a really hot Indiana team. And like it looked really good and like we rebounded super well. But yeah, otherwise it's been like super like messy. And I think offensively, like you kind of were touching on, Joel, like the thing with Cat at the 5 offensively, defensively it's not good, but offensively you can like torch guys off the dribble, right? And that's why he did super well last year, was like tons of drives. He like I think he was like 5th most fouled player. Got to the line, and then once that opens up, he had like a step back threes. And this year, like for whatever reason, like I think he was shooting like 32% from 3 this year on like I think he was about 6 attempts a game. So he's upping his attempts, but he like the spacing wasn't there. And that was just like super clunky. The one thing I will say though is that he did connect with Rudy really well, like passing to him. He's one of the few players who could do that well. And Anderson has picked it up too with him. But yeah, it's hard to judge the fit. And then just overall, like honestly, I think the Jordan McLaughlin injury is like way more significant than I think it's getting credit for, because our backcourt depth is really, really shitty. Noel has been bad, just like really bad for most of the year. He's been a complete negative on defense, and then sometimes he'll have like a good shooting game, but if he's not, he's like almost unplayable. And then Forbes like just can't shoot now. Yeah, so our point of attack defense just sucks really, and it's inconsistent. D'Lo is D'Lo. So it's really just McDaniels for point of attack, and Austin Rivers has been okay, but he just fouls too much. So I think
Ant's a really good on-ball defender when he's like locked in. Like
right,
he kind of reminds me
locked in. That's the thing.
But that's the thing. If you use him as a 4th quarter kind of like primary defender, I think it's really not. Oh, let's go. Ant's cooking right now, by the way. Anyway, but yeah. So I think with him just kind of being able to maybe down the line, year 4, year 5, lock in a little bit more for most of these games, that would help a lot. I definitely think. I mean, he mentioned in an interview when we played the Raptors last week, like Ant started taking on Siakam towards the end of that game and like really stonewalled him. And he was mentioning in the interview how from now on he'll want to like be that number 1 like on-ball defender in like late clutch situations in games, because he was citing Jaden's defensive versatility and how Jaden is an off-ball guy, kind of just doing that, playing a help defender role. It's like really invaluable for like how the rest of the defense operates. Mm-hmm. Which, when you consider that for the most part, I mean, there's going to be some negatives defensively in our closing lineups. Like D'Lo, he's a negative defensively, as we all know. Like having that ability to have 2 like locked-in defenders plus Rudy, who's a 3rd great defender, you know, it really improves our end-of-game defensive ability, versatility-wise.
And Anderson too, like he's closing games. He's a really good defender.
Yeah, Torian's another one. Like just having him out there, I mean, he's a guy who's a great defensive player. Yeah, versatile.
Well, D'Lo hasn't even been closing some games, Vig, because Finch has been like, listen, like if you're not getting stops, like we need to put Ant at the point of attack so he's actually engaged, because his off-ball defense is not good. And then you have like 3 good defenders there with Jaden and Kyle and Gobert. So yeah,
and Ant has just scored like 10 points in a row. Like he is just going insane right now. Like crazy layups, back-to-back threes, step backs. Anyway, I had to interject with what we're talking about. It's beautiful to watch.
Evan, how's your meal?
It's delicious. It's pesto with pasta.
All right, enough of that.
Thanks, Sev.
One thing I'll say Jaden McDaniels has been, definitely a nice improvement from last year. It's kind of what you like hoped for. He's just, kind of mayhem on defense. That's really nice, and just kind of buckled down more. I remember last playoffs, he was just like fouling left and right. Couldn't stay out of foul trouble.
He still does, but
He does, but there's still improvement there, which is nice to see. So that's like one of the things I could say about our players this year that's nice, that we still have some people moving forward. And Ant's like 21, so obviously he's got a long way to go. But like I was saying earlier, I think we played the win now card too early. Like,
yeah,
the only time you're gonna get a championship from a young guy like Ant, like 21 to say 24, because that's like the window with Rudy, right? They're some of the greatest of all time. I don't know that Ant's going to be able to be that. I guess if I had to bet, I wouldn't say so, just because he's still struggling in some areas. But we jumped the gun. It's been too soon, really.
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I think the idea with trading for Rudy was like providing that like floor and like being able to say, listen, like, because I think one of the big worries coming into the season was like we're gonna pull a Hawks from 2020 and then our Knicks. We're like we have like this kind of breakthrough year, and then like we don't improve the roster at all. The West gets tougher, and then we're out of the playoffs. That was like the huge fear, and then so we trade for Rudy, and it's like, okay, listen, like I don't think they traded for him, and like we're gonna win the chip this year. I think it was like year 2 and 3 of the Rudy trade, we're gonna be like gunning for like Western Conference Finals kind of stuff. But like getting that playoff experience for Ant and like building a winning culture, I think was like huge reasons to make the trade. And that's like not happened for.
The problem with the Rudy trade though is you just traded away like all your assets, right? So if you wait for Ant to like actually improve, and as he's entering his prime, call it probably not till 25 or between that 25 to 28 range, you need to be able to still have assets to trade, to go get a guy to help him
That's
your title. And
Yeah.
and the amount of stuff that we like, I would rather have Walker Kessler right now than freaking Gobert on a rookie contract.
The money, for the money, sure. I think I've been going back to that though with like the assets. I think something that I often forget is that we didn't trade every pick for the next like 6 years. We traded every other pick for the next 6 years, which kind of makes me feel a tiny bit better. Makes like 2% better that we didn't trade like 6 picks for him.
Well,
but like another thing I was gonna say is that I think if this like really just like destructs, like we just like don't end up going anywhere the next year or even 2 years, I do think that there's got to be consideration of trading Cat down the road. I genuinely think.
I was going to say that was going to be my next point. Is they're just going to? I think they're going to have to consider that for this offseason, to be honest.
I wouldn't hate that. I'm not even trying to be like hot take guy here. I don't know if Cat's going to be the guy to like be like. I mean, I know the answer.
Can he even be a number 2 on a championship team?
I think he could be number 2. That's the thing, though. I don't know if in our current setting with let's go. Wolves are doing good. In our current environment, I don't know if Cat would want to be the number 2 on this team.
He could be a number 2, but you'd have to get the fit right. Because like your team would have to be locked down defensively, right? And he would really just have to focus on scoring. And then he could be the number 2. But I don't know how many teams are like that, because the league shift towards big wings, being able to like defend and shoot much better now than it used to. But it's like, obviously he can't do that defensively, which is what a lot of teams want. And so the fit for like your 3 best players and him to be the second on a championship team, I don't think it would. I think most likely would have to be a third option.
I mean, he could be a second option offensively pretty easily, I think.
Offensively, but overall,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, you're right. I mean, in terms of like teams that have won the championship, like the only team that kind of has featured a player like has been like when Dallas went with Dirk, right? And that was kind of considered a fluky year too. So
Dirk and Tyson Chandler. I mean, Gobert would be Tyson.
Yeah,
That analogy.
Dirk was more consistent though. It was just
Cat has been good offensively in the playoffs. He was good defensively against Memphis though, which is a small plus. But yeah,
against Steven Adams.
Or Jaren had foul trouble, made it a little easier.
I mean,
That's
he was
true.
like, he was doing okay. It's just like offensively, he was like either scoring 30 or like posting a dud or falling out. So.
Update. So Wolves are up by 10 right now. Update. They're going off in the quarter.
I will say he was also in. I mean, wasn't he also in foul trouble a couple of those games?
Let's go.
And when he was really trying to defend, he just kept fouling. And so, like, pretty up and down.
He kept complaining about every little call. He just
that's
wasn't
not
doing
favorable.
himself any. He wasn't doing himself any favors with that either, and he just came across. I don't know. It just didn't seem like a winning player or winning.
The last 5 minutes of this Timberwolves game that's been going on while we've been talking has been the best I've seen Gobert play for us, I think, all year.
I know.
He's
they just keep feeding him.
Like Anderson is feeding him, D'Lo's feeding him, and has like 15 points in this quarter alone. We're up by 12 points right now. This is like
the season's
best
turning around, boys.
I'm just saying we need to record more during Wolves games, so this is going to be the norm.
Is Jonas in foul trouble? Like, what's going on?
No, he's in there, dude. He's been
Jonas
in there.
Sucks defensively. That's the whole reason Memphis got rid of him, because you just run pick and roll against him. He gets cooked.
Yeah, he's developed a good 3-point shot.
Grant, is this Brandon Ingram's first game back?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's why they're.
Yeah, Ant has 31 already, dude. He's on 40.
That's why they're losing, though. I mean, Ingram's still getting his feet back. He's 3 for 14.
Pels have lost a bunch in a row. They're not playing very well right now.
Well, they also had a back-to-back last. This is the back-to-back.
They're still fourth.
Well, yeah.
They're tied.
Well, 5 through 13 is like within 2 games of 500. So.
Yeah.
And Daniels is out, too. That probably doesn't help.
Who?
Dyson.
Yeah, Dyson and Zion. All right. Anyway,
Dyson.
We're getting a little caught in the moment.
Okay, Griff, get us back on track then, bro. Wolves are kicking ass right now. Let us enjoy this. All right, what's next? Let's talk about that.
Let us cushion our despair. Come on.
Yeah, you're right. It's that's just this team, though, man. Like that's what's been so frustrating is they've just been so consistent night to night. Or I don't know if it's them just like playing down to their opponent level, but it is like so frustrating to see them lose to the Rockets, who are probably one of the worst teams I've ever seen, and then like beat the Cavs without Rudy and McDaniels in foul trouble.
You literally never know what you're going to get with a given game with the Wolves. That's the thing. I mean, I was telling you, Grip, after that Rockets game, I almost prefer us to play better teams just so that we can actually wake up for these games and see what we're really about, Yeah. And these next 6 games are going to be huge. I mean, we got this game, Pelicans, Grizzlies, Kings twice at home. We have a 6-game homestand coming up. I didn't realize it was like that long of a homestand. We play the Warriors in that homestand. Orlando, who's honestly kind of plucky. They're not like terrible like they were last year.
They just beat Boston.
Yep, they beat Boston twice this year, and then we play the Nuggets to end that 6-game stretch. This will be quite a test to see if what we're made of. I think if we go 3-3, 4-2, that wouldn't be the end of the world. Whereas if we go 2-4, 1-5 in that stretch, I wonder if we'll maybe seriously consider making some moves. Trading some guys away.
Yeah, before we get to the trade deadline stuff, what do you guys attribute the inconsistency to? Like, does that fall on Finch's shoulders? Like, is it just like a lack of like a culture setter, like a Bev or a Vanderbilt leaving? Like, what do you guys think?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's the for sure you need like a veteran alpha on the team. Like Gobert's supposed to be that guy. I think
he's on a new team though. It's hard for him to be that guy.
Nobody really like looks up to him at all. Like Anderson is, a veteran presence for sure, but he's not like putting up. He's not like the guy who's going to go get you a bucket and win you a game either, right? He's not. Doesn't really strike me as sort of like a.
Wow. Wolves are on a 15-0 run, by the way.
Well, it's just setting the tone, right? That's all they need.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like getting a bucket
And
necessarily.
Getting rid of Beverly, I think, was like a pretty big deal because like he really connected with a lot of the young players and like, you know, could get their energy right and get their mind right and get them focused. And that was pretty big loss for the team. But also, I mean, yeah, like I said earlier, and Vig just mentioned, like first year teams that have, you know, big players just assembled. So Rudy just came in. Like they usually have, you know, fit issues. It's not going to just click in the first year. It doesn't for most teams, and it's, you know, it's really rare that they do. So, you know, the young team paired with that, I think, and losing Beverly, it's all just like it's not a recipe for, you know, meshing right away.
I think one of the reasons this is more rumored, I guess, is that they got rid of Beverly's because him and D'Lo were having some kind of squabbles about like playing point guard duties and things like that.
I have never heard that before. Where did you see that?
I think it was in like a John Kay article, like pretty briefly mentioned, but yeah, especially like during the playoffs when like Beverly was like running point a little bit more. Yeah,
that makes the whole you know, D'Lo extension and like, you know, him staying with the team even more interesting because like if guys really respected Beverly and those two are having issues and like maybe they side with Beverly, I don't know. That could be another thing that is just not letting this team work together really well.
Yeah, I don't know.
How many more years is left on Russell's contract?
This is the last year.
Yeah, I think he's an expiring.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's done after this.
I mean, that's the thing. That's why we have to trade him and try to get something for him, is my opinion. But the thing is, he's been
trade him to like a like. Who would take him?
Wizards, baby.
Team that's looking for an expiring.
There's teams. Like Heat could give up Lowry. I don't want Lowry personally, but that's an option.
No.
Clippers.
The Heat would never take Russell.
They could use a guy like
they have been considering it, at least rumored too.
Dude, the thing that makes it tough from the Wolves standpoint with Russell now is that the last 3 months he's actually been like pretty damn good in terms of offensive production. He's shooting like 42% from three. We're at that point with D'Lo every year where he has this hot stretch that kind of has you buying back into him. And he sucks at the end of the year in playoffs like he did last year.
Yeah.
Sucks. It's just like a cycle with him. It's a very toxic cycle.
Say we do trade him. What do you want back? That's what I'm wondering. Do you want picks or like that's what I was thinking. Like we're not going to win now, and we're not going to win for the next 3 or 4 years. I think at least. So I would, I
don't know about that.
I don't think so. I mean, Rudy's aging. If you get rid of D'Lo, and I mean potentially Cat, it's not a championship roster.
Well, they're counting on Ant to become like a top 10 player, and if he does,
which he will.
Player too. Jaden's a pretty good player too.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's true.
So I mean, I think
what about Naz Reid?
He's
he's not going to be one of those top players, but like he could play like the center pretty well.
We're going to trade him, I think.
We're going to get into the trade talks here pretty soon. We probably should now.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be traded. I think he's going to be traded.
I think they have to. Just briefly on the D'Lo point, I think we have to trade him. We can't trade him for pick Stroll because they really want to keep that salary slot. And like how the cap works is pretty much like if we trade him and we don't replace the salary, we're like we can't like add more money or something like more above the cap. Mm-hmm. Which means that you're trading him for like a similar player who makes that money, which is super tough. So like the only viable trades really are like a straight swap for Lowry.
Mm-hmm. Terry Rozier
or like Conley's been floated out there, but like I don't think the Heat or the Utah want Russell. So I think what's going to end up, I think they'll probably just extend him for one more year. That'd be my guess for like 1 year for like 28 or something like that. Because
28.
He's making 30 right now. Like,
yeah, but
they
wouldn't give Russell.
But they
just
want
because
to pay him
some other team gave
salary.
him 30.
They want to pay him just to keep the salary slot.
They should trade him to Charlotte for Rozier. I'd rather have Rozier.
That would
No,
be
we
awesome.
need we need point guards though. That's the problem, man. Like
Rozier's a point guard.
he doesn't pass, dude. He doesn't pass at all. He's a shit passer. That's the biggest problem, man. Like with McLaughlin going out, is we don't have a guy who can run the offense. Like we're 28th in turnover percentage.
I have a quick question. Would you, if you had the chance to reverse and not do the Wiggins D'Lo trade, would you do it?
No.
What I do?
You
Wait. Go ahead.
yeah. Would you still trade away Andrew Wiggins
would.
for D'Lo?
I would.
Wiggins
Yeah, I
was
would
never
too.
going to succeed here.
He wasn't. It wasn't going to work. We had to give ourselves a shot.
And Wiggins is only gonna succeed in like a team like Golden State that can really set him up for success. Like he's just, I don't know, is he not interested enough? Maybe I don't know.
He needs a
He
huge
just, like-
amount of like infrastructure around him, pretty much.
Yeah. So I mean, I think, that's three of us would have still done the trade. So I don't know, Evan. What do you think?
Yeah, we had to get rid of him.
I think looking way back in time, maybe the trading Levine instead of Wiggins for Jimmy is a big what if. With that, I really, in hindsight, would have rather kept Levine, I think, than Wiggins. See where we go with Zach. Although you could argue if we had Zach still, we wouldn't have drafted Ant if we were in that position.
That's
There's a lot
true.
of what ifs. A lot of what ifs, but
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Wolves are up by 14, but
Nice.
Kicking ass.
You guys want to hop into some like trade deadline stuff? I mean, we kind of discussed Russell, so if there's any thoughts on that. Otherwise, I think the guys being floated is Naz because his contract's coming up, and we have 5 centers on the roster. Other than that, I'm not really sure who's on the. Maybe Noel is also a free agent after this year.
I hope so. I hope
Yeah.
Noel's in the book.
I would like to see Noel for like a third string point guard. I think that would help just get some point guard depth because for whatever reason we won't play Wendell more. So
What do you guys think about the possibility of Toronto? I know Toronto's kind of thinking about not a fire sale, but they got some guys where they're thinking about maybe just tearing down some of what they have, building around Barnes, I guess. Maybe trading OG. I saw
who
OG
from
to
Toronto do you want?
maybe Trent or FPV. I don't know if Van Vliet's a better like lead guard in terms of like leading an offense than D'Lo is. I would assume he'd
Yeah, I
pretty
think so.
similar. He's streaky as well. I don't know if that'd be a trade that Toronto would be interested in. I don't know. Is Fred expiring? I think he is. Fred and
Yeah.
I think he is, and
yeah.
that's an interesting trade because I've also heard they're trying to, or they're thinking of moving him, and rebuild, around those young guys.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I don't know if the math works there for the trade, but I would take Fred.
I think they make similar money as is right now.
Yeah.
I think they do, but I don't know why Toronto would do it. Like we'd have to throw in a pick probably, and like we don't have any to give.
Yeah.
Or we trade them now. They don't
Yeah,
have big
maybe
men.
Naz and Russell for Van Fleet, but I don't know if they want Naz.
Toronto never has big men, so I mean, I don't know why.
We get Wancho back.
True. I would like that, dude. I would like that.
Bo and Kermit Wiltz back together, man, would be unstoppable.
Yeah, we should do a movie review of Hustle, like a rewatchables, like talk about the movie for 2 hours. Yeah, Griff. I don't know who else from the Wolves. I mean, besides the guys you mentioned, I know there was a report that came out about Naz maybe courting interest from like the Clippers or the Nuggets, and there was some names stuff out, like Terrence Mann or Bones Highland. I wonder what it would take to get those guys.
I would not.
I would
not want Bones.
No, I wouldn't
He's
want Bones.
he's like a better Noel. He's like
Man
a
would
slight.
be incredible.
Man would be great. He'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or otherwise, I think the Nets have expressed interest in him lately, and I do think that they have some guys, maybe like a Seth Curry or a Joe Harris type, maybe even Yuta Watanabe. He's been really good for them this year if they want to consider parting ways with him. The Nets have some guys like they could use another center. I mean, Claxton's been a beast this year, but maybe another guy like Naz to put in there.
Yuta would be interesting because I think he's a pretty good point of attack defender, isn't he?
I'm not sure what his defensive stats are,
I
but
thought he
I
was
know
a 3 and
offensive.
D guy because I don't know if he's been good defensively, but I saw him guarding like Luka at the end of games and stuff, so I figure maybe he's their wing stopper.
This is kind of interesting. I came across a tweet earlier today about how I think their percentage of unguardable shots that they're like hitting, like their shooting percentage. Utah is like the highest. He had like an 80% unguardable field goal percentage. Noel has the worst. Noel is like 37 or 38%.
I saw that.
Which is
That was great.
It's hilarious. So I wonder maybe getting a guy like that, pretty versatile, big-ish guy who can shoot. That would be very valuable for us. I think Naz has there's a good market for Naz. I think he'd be.
I'm glad that we didn't trade him before his value started rising, like before teams realized they could get something out of his playing. So that was something nice that like we kept him. Plus, I mean, he's going for MVP. So
every year, dude.
He's best player in the league. So glad other teams didn't realize that. We're going to at least get something if we trade him. But yeah, nice backup center, but I don't know.
What do you guys think? You think you get like a late first at max, or you think it's like a second rounder?
For Naz?
Yeah.
I mean, late first depends on what team you trade with.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like I mean, like the Nets.
It's possible. I think. It really depends how much they're hurting for a player like him, but I don't know.
If you trade Nas, I don't know. If you trade Cat though, it doesn't in the next year or two. Who are you filling in the center role then?
The problem with Naz is that he's not good defensively at all.
No, but he's fine. He's fine for like a backup center though.
Yeah, so
he can come in like 10, 15 minutes a game for you and get some buckets.
Yeah, you're saying like, what happens if we trade away Cat and we have Rudy, who's our backup center? No deal?
Backup center is the easiest position to fill though. Like we have honestly like Knight I'd be okay with. Like Garza's been actually surprisingly pretty good.
Actually, Garza has been pretty good.
So like, yeah, I don't know. We're not gonna be able to re-sign him. I think Naz. So I think we should just trade him now.
Yeah,
sure.
High value.
Yeah.
And if actually, I was looking at like the on-off numbers, and his is actually really low. He's one of the worst on the team, which kind of surprised me. But I think it's just because he fouls all the time, and he can't rebound either, which really sucks. Like, yeah, he's just not very. If he's not hitting his shots, he's pretty bad. But
real quick, just going on to like maybe looking ahead for the team rest of the season here. How many wins do you guys think we end up with this year? We're 24 and 25 right now. We got 33 games left. I think Vegas set our line now, like our updated line at 38 and a half for like our win-loss record or our wins amount this year. So what do you guys think? You guys think we go over or under that 38 and a half?
What's the ETA on Cat returning?
That's the thing. I mean, I think it's after the All-Star break, which would be like the last like 15 games of the year, 20 games of the year. So we have 33 games left, 32 after tonight. So I don't know. I think we get to like 41, 42 maybe at the highest.
Yeah.
It's a good line.
I was gonna say right at 39. That
seems right. I think our
kind of right.
I was telling Vig that our strength of schedule is third hardest in the league, I think. So it's a little concerning.
Oh, really?
Let's see. It ties back into us playing well against good teams, though. Like waking up for these games.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the Pelicans are a good team. We're playing them on the road now. We're looking decent so far. I mean, not decent, pretty good so far. So I don't know. I just feel like the biggest thing though is apparently we just have a stretch of like a bunch of road games near the end of the year because we've already played quite a few home games and we're gonna have a 6-game homestand coming up here. So I think keeping that in mind, the amount of road games might backfire against us in terms of our record. We see the season playing out, but I think our max could be like 42, 41. That could honestly get us into a pretty good spot for playing, I would say. So
I think our max is higher than that if Cat comes back, and they kind of figure some stuff out. But
Let me look up
I
the
guess.
I would guess yeah, like 40 or 41. I mean, this team has just been like a dead 500 team without Cat, and then Cat comes back. Like, is he gonna be 100% healthy? How's it gonna mesh? Like, does someone else get hurt? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if like I think max it could get to like 44 or 45. But they're probably gonna be
Yeah, I
playing.
mean, last year was kind of an anomaly with how shit like basically 10 through 15 in the West was, but the Spurs made it as a 10 seed with 34 wins. So I doubt 34 wins will make the playoffs this year. With how tight everything is. I think we get to like 38 to 40, we can definitely finish as like 9-10 seed at the worst and go from there. But yeah, Griff, I think I would expect us to be around 41 maybe. That's how I see it going, just like 500 rest away. Because even when Cat comes back, we got to work him back in terms of fit. Like he'll have missed 3-4 months, and we already didn't really mesh well. Well, we started to mesh well, I guess, with Cat, Rudy, and Ant, but there'll be a lot of relearning because Ant will have to take a bit of a backseat once Cat's back, I think. But yeah, we'll see. So how many guys? So what was that? Go ahead.
I mean, maybe this is a little further down the conversation line, but like, do you think it's going to be Cat's team next year?
It's not Cat's team now.
Yeah. I mean, it's I guess you could say it's up for grabs maybe right now, but like after this break where Ant's been prospering, I don't think so.
Probably
so
not.
That might also force a trade from getting rid of Cat.
I don't think they'll trade Cat until next off season, unless he comes back and it looks like horrible. Because like I think they're gonna have a ton of excuses for like this is gonna take a while anyway. Like he's coming back from an injury, like yada yada yada.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think this off season, but next year, maybe there's a big trade. I think that's what I'm expecting to happen at least.
Yeah, this time next year, maybe. Because Cat will be making like 45 million or whatever too. That extension kicks in. Because we have to extend McDaniels, we got to extend Ant. Is the other thing. So yeah, it's gonna be tough, man. And the way Jaden's playing, he's probably gonna get close to the max.
Maybe. I think he'll make like McCall. Maybe
McDaniels.
He won't make max, no way. But maybe close to it.
No,
I said close to them. I mean, dude, he
said close.
He's like I think the second or first ranked like wing defender in the league right now, and he's hitting 39% of his threes. He had a mid range game. Like I don't know, man. Like that's pretty bad.
Well, I think the thing that's why I think we'll get rid of Cat eventually. I think because the thing is, I don't see these new owners paying for the luxury tax when right now they're even trying to scrape pennies just to fully buy the team. Like we're in that position right now with A-Rod and Mark Morey.
A-Rod's on layaway.
A-Rod had to borrow a lot of money from some friends to make this equity.
He's going to hit up the Steinbrenners for some cash, some Yankees cash. But I don't know. It was weird seeing him courtside against the Rockets on Monday. I mean, his new girl, it was weird. It was just weird to watch. Like, D-Well fell into the stands. He's, like, fell into A-Rod. And A-Rod was just sitting there. And, like, dapped him up. And then D-Well just ran back out onto the court. It's kind of surreal. But,
I mean, when you lose all that money taking J-Lo out to eat, like, you just, you got to scrape pennies from where you can get them.
For real. Yeah. All right, Griff, what's next? Talk about this.
Well, I thought we were still talking about trade deadline stuff. Or is that it? Is it just Naz and D'Lo?
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, dude, I don't really know what more we can talk about with that. I mean, I feel like D'Lo, Noel, Naz are kind of like the three guys who are going to be the most scrutinized during these next few weeks. So,
I guess we could talk about. Do you guys think Ant's going to be an all-star?
I think if he cracks 40 tonight, maybe. I think so. I feel like he needs a couple more big games.
A little bit of recency bias, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't started turning it on until just recently.
I mean, define just recently, bro. It's been like a month and a half, 2 months
He's
of
been
this.
pretty
That's
good
like
for a while.
Yeah, it hasn't been just like 2 weeks ago, dude.
It's been like a month.
I'd say longer than that.
Like just the month of January. He's had a good month.
No, he's been really good since like December. Because he I remember when we were overseas, I was looking that Dallas game where he almost had like a triple double, and that's when he started like really taking off, I thought.
What are the All-Star votes right now?
I mean, who cares about
is that all fan voting?
No, it's not. That's why I don't
The
I don't
starters
care
are,
about
but
that.
the reserves are.
Let's look at All-Star.
Okay.
votes.
So Austin Reeves isn't going to be in the All-Star game because he
No,
plays for the
even though
Lakers.
he's like top 5 for guards.
Yeah. The problem in the West is just it's like super tough again for guards. So you got Curry and SGA and Doncic, and Booker still might get in, even though he's missed a lot
I
of
don't
time. He might.
Durant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ant's been
pretty
healthy
nuts.
though.
So then it's like
I mean,
Yeah.
Dame, De'Aaron Fox, and those are like the
Yeah.
other guards probably.
there's not a lot of spots. Lillard also probably get in.
I said Dame, yeah.
No, sorry. But yeah, Fox, like you
I
said.
think the thing is, dude, if Book gets in, I don't know if he'll play. So it's like that's like an automatic injury spot right there. I feel like I think Ant will get in eventually. If he doesn't get voted right away or selected right away, I think he'll find a way. I don't know though. I'm not sure what they're gonna do with like Aaron Gordon. I know he's been a guy talked about, or Jeremy Grant.
Mhm.
They're like the guys to the West at least.
Yeah, that's what I've heard is like the last spot is like Ant or probably Gordon, just because Nuggets are the 1 seed and Gordon's been really good. So.
I just don't like that. Like, oh, the 1 seed has to have 2 All-Stars. It's like if your one guy is like soon to be 3-time back-to-back MVP, perhaps. Like,
Yeah.
okay to just have him be the 1 All-Star. So we're trying to like pigeonhole like a very much lesser second option.
Has Gordon really been their second best option?
He's been good this year, apparently.
Murray's been hurt and PJ's been hurt, and he's been good career year, I think.
Wow.
And he's
Yeah,
like
no,
the best defender.
I've actually been watching quite a bit of Nuggets, and I've noticed that he's been playing really well. It just doesn't strike me as a All-Star candidate.
Yeah, he's a guy if he makes the All-Star game, he'll play like 5 minutes in the All-Star game, maybe.
Yeah.
DNP
just not a good guy.
All-Star game.
Like the 12th man, yeah, he'd be the 12th
Just
man.
have him do the dunk contest again.
I think did he say
That's
he
what
was
he-
going to?
If he makes the All-Star game, he'll do the dunk contest. You guys see they pulled up that guy from the G League do the dunk contest?
McClung, right?
Yeah, Mac, yeah.
I mean, I feel like Ant could say
is
the
that-
same thing and he'd get in.
Ooh, Demo, that was huge. Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be fun.
He's never gonna do a dunk contest, dude. He's said that before. Unless the Wolves just suck for 4 years, he'll just be depressed and be like,
Just
"Fuck it,
disillusioned
dunk
Ant.
contest." Yeah, I don't think disillusioned Ant exists in current form. How optimistic he is. But
Not yet.
we'll see what Minnesota does. We'll see what Minnesota does to his psyche in 2-3
Yeah, I was
years'
gonna
time.
say, Vig, we got a long time for the malaise to seep in. Anything from like the NBA at large you guys want to discuss?
I think Joel was talking about LeBron earlier. We should definitely.
I mean, it's noteworthy that he's about to pass Kareem, and he also just scored 40 points against every. Well, he completed scoring 40 points against every team in the NBA. It's noteworthy.
Oh,
You don't think so, Evan? Evan doesn't think that's noteworthy at all.
Pretty lame.
Winning?
Huh?
I don't know. They just keep feeding LeBron. Like,
Of course.
it's just
I wouldn't.
what do you want him to do? What do you want him
he's
to do
just
with
that.
Anthony
he's just
Davis has been out,
stat
and Russell
padding.
Westbrook comes off the bench. Of course he is. I mean, what do it's not less impressive that he's about to pass Kareem.
I mean, he's 38, Ev.
I know,
Yeah,
LeBron's carrying
he's
that
average-
team. He's carrying that shit team that shouldn't even be like higher
Yeah.
than 12 seed.
No,
I'm going to give
They're-
LeBron his props. I mean, I get
Yeah,
annoyed
they're-
with LeBron.
I mean,
Go ahead.
he's
Go ahead.
he's averaging 30 points still. I mean, like, what's the, just to widen it up a bit, like, how many players are averaging 30 or more points this year? It's like the most ever or something like that,
I
because
don't know.
the league keeps like expanding or changing the style of the game to
pace is a lot faster.
make more scoring happen, because they get a better product then. You wonder if that's going to get handicapped a little bit in the coming future.
I think it will, man, because I feel like the best basketball is playoff basketball, and that's not like the regular season.
No, it's pretty. The gap is growing, but yeah, I don't know. I think I would like it if they could put more of an emphasis on defense. I think it's more fun to watch when you get guys really battling. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
they need to loosen up on the foul rules. I think if they called less fouls, which again, like, would actually make a better product, because I think like the worst part of the NBA is like the constant fouling, and then free throws like suck to watch. So like, cut down on that, and it'll be like, I think that'd be good. But
I think also like load management. A lot of stars like taking off now. Like,
Yeah.
from a perspective, like an entertainment perspective. Like, there was a video of this kid going to the Heat game last night, expecting to see Jimmy Butler there. He had like a sign and everything, and then he finds out that Jimmy's not playing in the game because he's getting load managed. That kid looks so sad walking up the rafters, almost like he was leaving before the game even began. I'm just like, damn, if I was 17 years old and I was like watching KG back then, it's like,
he did get to meet him today, though.
he did?
There needs to be
They met today. Yeah.
there needs to be like a
You need to penalize them.
if they they gotta find the teams. It's like if you like load manage, or they should just hire like, I don't know, like 15 doctors, like it's like a third party doctor to like to give them like a physical before the game.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, if you're gonna load manage, you have to refund all the fans like 20% of your ticket, and then the owners would shut that shit down like right away.
Yeah, the thing that's so contradictory to me is like sports medicine has been the best it's ever been, and like there are fewer people playing 82 or even like 80 plus games, than there's ever been. It's like, what's happening? Because like, I mean, you should be able to get guys to play, most of those games.
That's what
the stars to play most of those games, but they're not. And so it's, are they gonna lower the number of games during the year and then crack down on how you load manage? I don't know.
they should. I'd like to see it go to 72 or 70. I think
Fewer games would be the best option to load manage, because
eject him, eject Willie Green. Yeah, get him out of here. He's like attacking the referees right now. Holy shit, he's like getting. I'm sorry, that he's like really angry right now. My God. Yeah, dude. I think with the fines that should happen. I think Stan Van Gundy tweeted something similar to that, with like how back then in like the 80s and 90s, players like we weren't as advanced in terms of science and medicine now like we are now.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was playing back then like all of these games, and like there's no such thing as load management until now.
Because they're trying to get players to play longer careers, because it helps them. If you can keep the talent in the NBA longer, you get a better product. But like at the same time, I mean, the guys aren't playing, so something's got to change, and I think it's going to happen within the next couple of years. We're going to see a
with
change
the
in that game schedule or rules around like load managing.
I mean, with the new play-in tournament coming in too, I'm sure they're going to have to like lessen the amount of games in general, just based off of that alone. I mean, how many extra games is that going to be? Like 8 to 10? Not really sure what the parameters of the play-in tournament are.
Like the mid-season tournament thing.
Yeah.
The mid-season tournament. Yeah. Maybe they take those games away from the regular season and just give them to the midseason tournament. I don't know.
Yeah, and then you give like a prize, give like some bonuses for winning it or something.
I think
I was thinking.
Picks. Otherwise,
I was going to say you got to give a pick, or people wouldn't care, and then you would get. I don't know if it's like I feel like they'd have to structure it so that every team could win it, because then you get the lower teams playoff standings. Trying to rebuild, like actually. Well, I don't know. Maybe they want to.
Maybe you get an automatic
the best teams.
Do you get an automatic playoff berth?
That
would be nice.
I wonder if they do like 2 tournaments almost, like you split the league in half and you do like, like the top half plays for like an automatic bid and the bottom half plays for like a pick.
Yeah, but that makes more sense.
It'd be tough because
if the best teams get a pick every year, I guess that doesn't really.
It's less valuable for them though, and like I wonder if what they could do is they could make the pick like set, like be like the 31st pick, for example. It's not like you select,
I actually kind of like the playoff berth idea. It's like the FA Cup, right? You can get like a random like any team technically has a shot to like get like a Europa bid for next year.
It's tough though because like if like the Rockets win the tournament and they are like 30 games worse than like the 8th seed, like that's pretty tough optics. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe they get a play-in spot. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe like the 10th seed or.
Depending on your
seeding,
like you get a playoff or play-in.
That, in my mind, though, like if you get a chance in the playoffs mid-season as a 16th seed, like you're going hard as a motherfucker. Like every one of those games, right? That's gonna be a super intense, like exciting tournament. That's kind of what you want out of your regular season. People going at each other.
Yeah, I think the idea of that would be like to give something for like the lower seeded teams to play for. Because that like otherwise during the regular season, like they're sagging off, they're tanking.
They're tanking.
Yeah. So yeah, playing berth makes sense. I think a pick mid makes sense. Maybe you do it.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do with the 31st pick in the draft?
I mean, draft somebody.
That's not bad.
Well, and the other thing too is like you get a lot of bench guys then too. It's sort of like I'm gonna bust my ass to get another guy in here that's gonna be coming for my job.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
Like from the team perspective, the team would want that, but I don't know that the players would necessarily go for that.
Yeah, you're probably right. A berth makes sense. Maybe you'd have to have a rule though, where like you have to be within a certain amount of games of like the 10th seed in order to get it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't. They can work out the kinks.
Or maybe you don't. You just have like if you do like 1 through 15, and then you like seed it so like the top 4 seeds get a bye, right? Like the Rockets, let's say, would have to win like 5 games instead of like 3.
Mm-hmm.
But
right, yeah,
that'd be weird though, man. Because like, what if the Rockets win the tournament and then like the last like 20 games are just like, well, we're guaranteed a 10 spot. Like we don't like, you know what I mean?
Maybe you still got to make some goal to get that spot. I don't know.
I think the playoff berth makes sense though, Lev. I think they just have to like have.
It's just like a play-in game or something.
Yeah.
You get like the worst play-in game automatically, and then that makes the play. So let's say like the Nuggets win the tournament, right?
Yeah.
They're already going to be in the playoffs. You just extend it down one more spot, and then that makes the end of the season that much more interesting for those teams that are on the brink, right?
Yeah, I do wonder though. Like, are the Nuggets really going to try? If you're like the 1 seed, like, are you really going to try in the tournament?
Probably not.
Yeah.
No, it really it makes sense for teams like the Wolves, like the Mavericks or the Clippers or whatever.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. They just have to. It's weird because I feel like the top teams and the bottom things are like have very different goals. So like provide like one incentive that fits both is really tough. But
It's gonna be weird. Do you think to maybe move on to another broader NBA topic? Do you think that they're going to add new teams in the next few years? You think that's coming? You think that's farther out?
probably, I mean,
Because
Seattle
they're
and
talking
LA,
about
or sorry, Vegas and Seattle.
Seattle and Vegas. Yeah.
Would you
Do you
move?
think it's
Would you move like the Grizzlies to the Eastern Conference then?
Yeah, you'd have to move 2 teams to the East. Probably be us and Memphis.
Oh, you only have to move one. You have to move one because it'd be 15 and 17.
Yeah.
West, so
Oh,
just one.
sorry. Yeah, you're right.
I think we could be that team, dude. The Wolves, maybe, because
Yeah.
geographically we play geographically in other sports for Minnesota. We play a lot of the Great Lakes teams, and all of those teams in the NBA are in the Eastern Conference. So,
Mhm.
based on that, it could make sense. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Memphis and us are kind of those two teams. I mean, Memphis being in the Southwest kind of makes sense geographically for them, more so than us playing Portland and Denver and Utah. OKC's
Mhm.
way down there in the South. I don't know why the
Yeah.
hell they're. I mean, they were Seattle before. That makes sense, but
It makes more sense for us too, because we have Milwaukee and Chicago and Detroit, and Memphis has Houston and Dallas, and like you said, OKC right nearby. So
yeah.
that'd be fun. Wolves probably be more competitive in the East.
Honestly, with the way the East is
Depends on the
now,
year.
I'm
Yeah,
kind of
but,
scared though, dude. I think the East might have surpassed the West though. Now I don't know. There's a
It's
lot.
been up and down every year. So I don't know.
I mean,
Overall, we'd probably do better.
there's more talent than ever in the NBA. Period. So yeah, I guess.
Yeah. What teams? What team? The Pacers, the Magic, and the
With
Cavs
what?
are all up. I think the Pacers, the Cavs, and the Magic are trending up
The Bucks are
in
already
the East.
Sixers. Heat will be.
The Bucks are going to be
Yeah,
good.
Bucks.
The Celtics are going to continue to be good.
Yeah.
The Nets, their windows
We'll see about
kind of
that.
closing. Yeah, we'll
It's
see.
closing.
Heat too.
But yeah,
I don't think.
Cavs,
I don't.
Heat's closing.
Yeah. I don't think the Knicks are. Are the Knicks trending up?
I think they.
I don't know that they are.
I think they
Are they?
I think they kind of are. I mean,
Randall's
they're
not
not
that old, is he?
Randall's not old. Brunson's been pretty damn good for them.
Yeah, Barrett's still young.
Rudy,
Yeah.
Rudy, you
Is
gotta-
Randall?
oh my
Is Randall really your guy?
No, but I mean they're not.
RJ could be that guy though. RJ could be that guy.
They'll be competitive. though.
Brunson's been. Yeah,
Oh
Brunson's
my
been.
god! Oh, this game is getting tight, guys. 7-point game. Pelicans have hit some shots. 4 minutes left. I don't know.
Running out of gas.
We could.
The Bulls.
Yeah,
Eh.
Bulls are It's good. I mean, mostly good. But the league's gonna get better and better. I mean,
Whoever's getting Wemby.
Spurs.
Dear
probably.
God. Think we could trade for the first overall pick? Trade Cat straight up?
I know. I don't think you trade anything for Wemby. I literally think
He's probably not a longevity guy.
Yeah, but I mean,
Really? I would trade Cat for Wembanyama.
no, I'm saying they would.
kidding
No
me?
one would trade
No one
that
would
pick
take
if they
that. No
had
one
it.
would take
Oh,
No.
yeah.
The only players you would trade for that pick is a top 3 player in the league.
Is there a way
Like
we could
Giannis,
accidentally
Tatum,
get the
and,
pick?
Doncic.
That's probably it.
Maybe KD. Maybe the Nets trade KD.
KD's too old, dude.
He's still KD, dude. He's still KD. Still an MVP level player.
No.
For how long?
Yeah,
I
dude.
know.
Maybe a year.
God, what if you think who's
You spent your whole
odds
year
are best
tanking
right now
to
to
get
get
KD.
NBA?
No, I mean the thing with the first round pick is you have pretty much 8 years of it guaranteed, and Wemby is considered a generational talent.
Yeah, of
So
course.
Yeah. He's gonna change the game, dude. He's gonna of all the. There's been a lot of Hall of Fame basketball players from abroad, but from outside the United States, I think Giannis. Dirk was probably in that upper echelon in terms of stardom. But
Yeah.
nobody really, at least since I really started following the NBA, nobody in my mind is like has been the face of the NBA from outside the US since
No. Because Giannis doesn't want it. Giannis doesn't want the publicity, even though I think he's the best player in the NBA right now.
Well, who do you think is right now? Do you think LeBron's the
Giannis.
face of the NBA? Oh, you think Giannis
Oh,
is
the
the face
face.
of the NBA?
The face. Sorry, I thought you meant who's the best player.
he's like who is like at the peak of their powers and like is like,
I think maybe.
I mean the year the Bucks won the title, I mean that was like, I think you could probably, KD was having a career year that year, but
He was. I think. I mean, right now, I think LeBron is still the face just because of the publicity he's getting.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not the best anymore, obviously, but yeah, I think he could still be considered the face. Wembanyama, I mean, I don't really know his personality. If he doesn't like, if he's like Giannis and he doesn't care, he doesn't want it. I mean, Jokic is like that too. Then is he going to be the face of the NBA? No.
Yeah.
It's going to be the guy that's eccentric. Maybe Ant is going to be the face of the NBA. Maybe he takes a
No.
huge leap, and
Yeah.
he's lovable. He's lovable
Yeah, he's
enough,
super
but
charismatic.
like you get it though. Like it doesn't have to be the best player. It has to be the mix of like
you have
who's
to be
outspoken, who's
Well, you have to be you have to be on a title contending team.
you have to get a
and
major
you have to
market
be,
though too,
That's true.
in my opinion.
So
Like, you gotta
I don't
be-
know.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe when I say the face, I think of something different. I'm thinking just like,
Well, what's
who's the
crazy is
best? Who is like the best player in the NBA?
I mean,
who,
Evan,
who,
right now it's Jokic, right? So like you could argue the top 5 players in the NBA are all European. Like Jokic, Doncic, Giannis, Embiid. I guess that's 4. But I mean,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, whatever.
But
Okay.
I wouldn't say they're the most popular because LeBron is just like he plays in LA and yeah, he's doing good stuff. I mean, the thing with Wembanyama is like there's so much hype about him, like if he is charismatic and he goes to like maybe the Rockets or like a Spurs, like a more premier franchise, like I could see him, maybe getting there. But Curry,
If he
Yeah.
goes to like
arguably,
if he goes to the Pistons or something like that, and the Pistons are stacked with Cade, Ivy, and Wembanyama, dude,
yeah, it'd be fun.
give that team like 4 years. They're gonna be the fucking.
yeah.
That's gonna be like an all-timer team.
I think Cade's a little overrated.
Granted, he doesn't get hurt
Yeah,
since it's his second year.
Maybe so,
yeah, I don't know.
but
I
you
mean,
can go get. I mean, you can go get some defenders.
if you look at the All-Star voting and like who the top voters are, it's Curry, Giannis, and KD and LeBron. So I think that kind of tells you who
Yeah.
the faces.
Yeah.
Right, Giannis is up there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I still don't think he's the face of the NBA though.
I mean, he's probably
Yeah.
probably top 3, but
Yeah,
Right.
but he doesn't want the. I mean, he's charismatic, but he doesn't want the publicity.
he still
Is the
gets it
thing,
though
like,
to a certain extent.
Of course, and naturally you do as top 2 player in the NBA, if not best. But yeah, he doesn't want it. So we'll see. That's also assuming Victor stays healthy.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's always.
Speaking of Victor being healthy, how are you, Viggy?
I think he's like stress eating watching this Wolves game.
Yeah, I am. It's definitely a stressful game right now.
Come on, that's a top 5 transition.
Taking the back seat. You guys are talking your talk. I think, Pistons could be pretty good with Wemby. It would have been interesting to think about the Thunder with Wembanyama before they are actually decent now.
Wemby and
Now they're
Chet.
probably pulling themselves out of it. Chet's like going to be Wemby light probably at his peak.
Yeah,
Based on how we think.
Bol. If he goes to the Magic,
I think Houston.
Magic could trade Bull to the Thunder.
I think Houston's saying because Houston already has like. I mean, they have too many young guys in Houston. I mean, they got Jalen Green.
The thing about Houston is that they just, at least teams like the Magic, even the Spurs, like they try still. Like they're still trying. They're just bad, right? Like, are the Rockets are they even fucking like?
Their coaching is horrible. I can't believe they haven't fired Silas.
Like at a certain point, you're not even doing your young guys any favors.
You didn't hit a huge three right there. We're up by 4 with.
I like how you boot yourself big and then you unmute to like interject.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is our podcast, Griff. I can do what I want.
You're right. No, you're co-host. You got like ultimate reign here.
I'm kidding, but yeah, dude. I mean, the Rockets. Yeah, they just have guys who have never played around like winning players before, like
right.
KPJ, Jalen Green. Like they literally have license to do whatever the hell they want to do.
They at least got like Bogdanovich on the Pistons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like someone on the team who's been on a winning team before.
Eric Gordon.
Yeah, I don't know why the hell EG is still there. Honestly, like I have no idea why he's still there. But yeah, I mean they got Boban too. We can't sleep on Boban. But
No.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I mean, I think Scoot Henderson's another overlooked guy in all this talk. Like, I think in most draft classes, he'd be the number one guy, like, unanimously. Like, it speaks to how good both of these guys are. Like, I think they're talking about Scoot being, like, a Westbrook type of player, like, peak Westbrook type of player. Probably with a better shot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. With a better shooting Westbrook,
Dude,
though.
peak Westbrook was amazing, Evan. You kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
with him and KD,
incredible. Never won anything.
Dude, they went to the finals like at a very young. I'm not gonna say he hasn't won it.
Iggy, I'll never forget when you bought the Westbrooks, the shoes, and you're like, he's making a, he's having a good year. He's gonna be MVP. He's MVP.
And he literally wins MVP, bro.
Yeah, you got the Westbrooks.
Ooh.
You were.
Is there anyone in the draft? Is there anyone in the draft that's going to be like a little under the radar, like a Halliburton or like?
I don't know enough about this.
Like those.
Speak on that.
Those kinds of guys.
I don't know.
I've listened to a couple draft pods. The guy said that Henderson was like the best guard prospect he's ever rated, like better than like Morant and.
Really?
Oh, Rudy, let's go.
So he's like super highly rated, but they said like the middle to later portions of the draft are looking pretty weak. Like 3 and 4, it's like the Thompson brothers, I think, and then it's like 5 and 6 are okay, but I think it drops off. But like you never know with drafts, man, because I mean I'm like the Ant draft was like it has like a horrible draft, and then you got like Ant LaMelo and you have some like deeper picks, so all pretty good. So. What team do you want Wemby on the most fun?
Oh, if he ends up on the Thunder, that would be him and Giddey. I'd love to see that.
The Thunder are 500, so I don't think they're probably going to get it unless they just tank.
The Rockets have the best odds, I think. Rockets, Detroit, Charlotte.
I do not want to see him on the Rockets.
Of course not. I'd like to see him on the Wolves.
I mean, him and Sengun would be pretty chill.
Of course, I don't want to see him on the Rockets. I want to.
I think it'd be fun on the Magic. Like they seem like they're pretty close to like being competitive.
Yeah, they're not. Are they good? Is there any penalties for getting 2 number 1 picks in a row?
No. There should be.
You know what's funny is never mind.
Oh, but dude, they're not going to be bad enough, I think, to qualify for that top pick, though. They're like 6 wins better than like Charlotte, Detroit, San Antonio, and Houston.
How much longer does Popovich have as coach? You think that'd actually be pretty cool?
I think it's Wemby or bust for him, dude. Honestly.
Yeah, probably like under 5 years for sure. Probably like under 3. I can't believe he's still coaching. Honestly, I didn't know he coached through the rebuild.
Yeah.
But let's do last.
If he ends up on the Lakers, I'm quitting the NBA. I'll go follow the Euro League.
Oh God. That would be sick.
Be disgusting.
I
You know, the Lakers, I think they're still going to vie for a play-in spot.
They got Rui now, dude. They're locked and loaded.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think
Anyways, what
I
were you
think
saying?
I think they'll trade for somebody, and I think they'll be competitive. But yeah, last thing I was just gonna say we should do like some midway finals predictions and then wrap it up here.
Wolves win, by the way, 9-point victory.
That's nice.
Rudy with a huge block at the end. We're up by 5 points.
I think the Nuggets may do it this year. They may make it to the finals. I don't know how strong of a finals team they'll be because they've had those injury problems, but like obviously Jokic has just been pretty much on a mission the last few years. He's been so good. They're number one right now in the West. Yeah, I don't know. I see them coming out of the West. I guess I could see there's a lot of teams that, could eke by. The Clippers are never truly out of it with Paul George and Kawhi. And Luka goes infernal, like very frequently during the playoffs. So I could see them do it. But I mean, the Grizzlies, I'm not quite sure.
I hate them.
Corniest team in the league, right, Vig?
I hate that, dude. That team is not. I mean, I hate siding with the Warriors on anything in terms of like just rivalry based. But Draymond saying that we don't view the Grizzlies as a rivalry because they haven't won anything to constitute there being a rivalry. I agree with Draymond 100% on that.
Yeah.
What has Memphis done? What has Memphis done at all? They won one series against a team that they probably shouldn't have won that series against. We should have beaten them. I don't get it. Like, Ja's entertaining, so is Ant. I mean, we have other... I'm just saying, I'm not going to get too emotional about this. But, yes, Joel, I think they are fraudulent to an extent. I think that if Golden State ends up being the 3 seed, I don't think they'll get that. Maybe they will. I would love to see the Warriors beat them again. I would love to see a Nuggets-Warriors full-strength Western Conference Finals. I think that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, I don't think I could handle another Golden State in the finals.
Oh, God.
I mean, I picked them at the start of last year to win it all, and they fucking did. But that's not, desirable. It gets old.
I think with the East, what do you guys think about the East? I think like there's like
is KD coming back? KD was on a bender before he got hurt.
He was like playing like an MVP dude for like 2 months. Yeah, I think he's coming back in like 2 weeks. I think right before the All-Star break.
Yeah,
I think they could sneak up on the Celtics.
Definitely.
Easily. I don't know that I have the Celtics as my first option going into the East. Like,
it's between them and Milwaukee.
Middleton got hurt last year, right? When they were playing the Bucks.
Yeah, but dude, that Bucks team has not been that good this year, even with like...
Well, without Middleton, I mean...
They've had him for some of these games, though, dude.
Some of them. I just...
If the Bucks are gonna do it, sorry, Joel. If the Bucks are gonna do it, they gotta start winning like now. They gotta get it going because I agree. They've looked pretty.
I mean,
Giannis has looked worse too, right? By his standards, he's having a down year.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the thing is, I don't think seeding matters that much in the NBA.
No, not for these teams.
Not for these like really, really good teams,
No, but there's a certain component of momentum going into the playoffs. Like you gotta be getting hot at the right time.
The top 4 seeds.
Go ahead, Joel.
Sorry. The top 4 seeds right now are who I have as the top 4 options. We got Celtics number 1, 76ers, Bucks, and Nets. I don't see the 76ers quite as the contenders as those other 3, but Joel Embiid was certainly impressive last year.
You just anti-Harden, or
I just don't think he's gonna get him over the hump. I don't think he ever has. In the playoffs, I guess that one year where they were so close with Chris Paul, but like, I don't know. I think he's clearly not the player he used to be. But yeah, I see the other 3, Celtics, Bucks, Nets, as the real contenders for the East. Celtics are just so stacked. It's hard to. It's really hard for me to watch. The thing is with obviously Jason Tatum having an MVP year. The thing is Jaylen Brown has had games just as good. Obviously last playoffs, those last two series, it was who's better, really? Obviously Jason Tatum came away with it, but there was an injury with him as well, a small injury, but when your top two guys are that close together, Tatum's still being better, but Jaylen Brown's still getting up there, for a lot of important games. And then they got such depth. And
you've got two All NBA players. He's probably going to make an All NBA team.
NBA, but he's pretty good. Yeah. Celtics are hard to argue against. They're just stacked. They finally got over that hump, of winning the East Conference. It's really hard to go back to the finals 2 years in a row. I just wonder if the Nets are super hot. If KD comes back and he's playing at that level, they were thinking about the Nets is I think they were over that winning streak. I think they were first in defense because Claxton has been unbelievable, which is really scary. I think.
I think they're a better playoff team than the Celtics just based off experience and talent. There is hard to argue too. KD and Kyrie. Kyrie's obviously been there before and won, and he doesn't have to be the first option. KD, just has to continue how he's been playing, and I put them above the Celtics for odds. But
so who's your pick out of these?
I guess
Nets.
It's a little hard to say without KD coming back, but I think if that team continues playing at a high level, I would give them the slight edge over the Celtics just because of they've been there so many times before. Their top player has at least. That experience is important in those matchups.
So Nets Nuggets. I just want to everyone's picks on the table.
What are your guys' picks so far?
I think Joel had Nets Nuggets.
I think I have Nets Nuggets, but those top three, it's really
it's a crap.
A toss up.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot. Evan, what do you got?
Kings Cavs.
Beam City, baby.
Fight the beam.
No, if the Nuggets stay healthy, it'll be I think it'll be Denver. Did you say Nets Nuggets, Joel?
Yeah.
Fuck.
You can pick the same thing. KD's really used this for his legacy too.
Pick the Cavs.
Let's go Bucks.
Oh.
I'll pick the Cavs. I actually think the Cavs could sneak into the conference finals.
Yeah, I think they could do that too.
Yeah.
All right, Griff, what are your picks?
I think it's going to be Denver it's probably Denver, Memphis, or Golden State. I think Memphis is if they trade for someone over the deadline, they're super scary.
Who would they trade for though? Okay, we don't have to.
I don't know. I'm just a hypothetical trade that they get another scoring option because
Crowder.
Yeah. Finals Crowder. I don't know. Josh taking his playmaking to another level this year. JJJ is arguably defensive player of the year. Bane's super good. So I could see it. I think they're missing a little bit of scoring. Probably get there. I think I would actually take Denver too, just because they've been lights out at home this year. I think they have the best home record in the league, and they're gonna have home field advantage the whole way. And if Murray's getting healthy at the right time, they have better depth with Gordon being better and Bruce Brown and things like that.
They have good depth, yeah.
So I think Denver probably makes the most sense, and then I would pick the Celtics, but I just think it's super hard to get back to back finals. So I think I'm probably going with the Bucks. Like, I could see Giannis getting like super hot over the playoffs, and like
Of course.
Lopez has been great. Like if Middleton gets healthy, it just seems like they're kind of
They
due.
they
And
they're in the running to pick someone
Yeah.
at the deadline too. I think
yeah, for sure.
feels like they need another piece.
Yeah,
Fill in the Grayson Allen minutes or something.
yeah, yeah. They're like a piece away. So I guess Bucks Nuggets. But I think the Celtics have been probably the best team in the league so far. I just think it's hard
Yeah.
hard to
Yeah.
hard to go back to the finals. So I'll do
That's
Nuggets.
assuming they stay healthy too.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Obviously,
we're
all the
assuming.
teams.
Yeah.
But
What do you think, Vig?
Oh yeah. I think with the West, I'm thinking Nuggets Warriors Western Conference Finals. I'm not sure what the seeding would be for that. The Warriors would have to not match up with them ideally as like a 4, 5, or 8 seed in order for that to happen. But I could see that occurring. I'm gonna say the Mavericks could be a dark horse, even though they're kind of mid. I just think Luka Doncic in the playoffs, what he's shown us. I don't know if they're gonna trade for anybody or not. What the Mavs even have flexibility to do. I'm just like scared of him in a game 7 setting in a series. Like we saw what happened to Phoenix last year. You never really know with a guy like him in the playoffs. I'm not going to rule them out. I want to say the Clippers have a shot just because they always give me that hope every year that they could be a team that makes the finals, but they just always end up finding a way to mess up. Although even 2 years ago, that was their best chance. Without Kawhi, they got really close. I'm gonna go with the Warriors though for now. I just don't know. I need to see more from Denver, I think, in the playoffs. Yeah, they played first 2 series. And if the Wolves match up with them, Griff, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I think the Wolves match up pretty well with them, honestly. So,
I agree. I feel like we play Denver and like Memphis better than like any other teams.
yeah. But with the East, I'm going to I don't know, I missed a couple minutes of your guys' combo there. I don't know if you guys brought up Philly or not. I think, Joel, you were coming in Embiid a little bit, weren't you?
Harden.
Oh, I was going at Harden. I don't think he's going to put him over the top. I was saying Embiid was playing awesome last year in the playoffs, so like he would drive that. I mean, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
Maxi's taken a step this year in the right direction, though. I think
Mhm.
getting Melton's pretty good, pretty savvy move for them. I'm gonna have them as a dark horse. I think I'm gonna pick Boston for now. I think they're still top to bottom, probably the most well-rounded team, even though they don't have, I think, the best player in the conference. They have one of the best. They have probably the best number 2. I think that their depth is pretty good. Backcourt depth, front court depth with Rob Will healthy, assuming he stays healthy. I would probably go Celtics Warriors rematch. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen like that. I mean, a lot of people probably had Bucks.
God, I hope not.
I hope not too, but I don't want to pick the same thing that you guys did. You guys both picked Nuggets. 2 of you picked Nuggets, maybe 3 of you. So
Who would you like it to be? Not who do you think it's going to be?
The Suns.
Suns.
Okay.
Suns Bucks.
Evan,
The Suns.
when you move out of Phoenix, you're like not gonna care about the Suns at all. That's the funny thing, dude. It's gonna be like this like 2.2 year in your life where you were a Suns fan.
it's disgusting. Actually, disgusting.
Fucking transplant.
You know, you just moved down at the right time.
I think Kings and Knicks would be very fun to see in a final
Oh my
setting.
god.
It's 2 of the worst teams in the NBA like last 20, 30 years. Somehow just
Pacer. I think the Pacers would be fun.
Halliburton is like has a trade
Halliburton.
kind of breakout.
Pacers were thinking about trading Miles Turner. Decided to keep him at the deadline and make a push for it.
I think there are a couple pieces, but that'd be pretty fun. I think Kings would probably be the best. Like that fan base would go absolutely like nuclear if they had made the finals.
Yeah.
They're kind of like the Wolves from last year to me. Just like a really good feel-good story and like super good offense.
Feel good to you or feel good to the league?
I mean, I love the Kings, so.
I mean, last year Wolves.
Oh no, I mean, I feel like the people were on the Wolves last year, like to the latter portion of the year when they were like super hot.
Remember
Oh,
when
man,
everyone
people
was
like the
making
Wolves
fun
that
of us for celebrating the play-in game?
Dude,
Dude,
that was
fuck
so
you don't think-
hype. That was awesome. I like.
Dude,
That's why I say, like, I don't think the league really cares for them that much.
dude, I don't even
Yeah.
care about how memeified that was. That was a sick moment, man.
That's nice.
It was.
That was a sick moment there. Being there in that environment too, never experiencing a Wolves game like that before.
Dude, trade
What?
D'Lo for Pat Bev straight up.
Easy.
Be right back.
Then we just had to go blow it up.
I mean, hey guys, 25 and 25. We're at 500 again. We keep yo-yoing between 500 and like 495 winning percentage. You know what, guys? You never fucking know what to do with this team. So I think that should be the takeaway from our hour of Wolves talk to start this. Is we don't really know what we're gonna see
No.
this rest of the way. That's kind of the blessing and curse. We really have no idea.
The good news is Vegas that we should get up for our next game at least. I think it's Memphis at home, right? Yeah, so that should be fun.
Yeah, man.
But all right, guys.
I mean, the fact
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the fact that we got up tonight after that embarrassing loss against Houston. I mean, that's a positive for me. I look at that as like a plus that we actually woke up for this.
Yeah, I guess.
Like it makes up.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Was that yesterday or 2 days ago? They lost to the Rockets.
Monday.
I watched the entire game. That was like
Me too.
the nadir
too.
of the year for me. Like, wow, I just wasted 2.5 hours listening. All right, guys. Any closing thoughts, or are we gonna put a bow on this?
Good.
Yeah, Vig.
I gotta blow my nose, man. So let's get this going.
We gotta turn it up. That's gonna blow out the speakers to this this podcast.
It's a flu game, dude. It's a flu game.
The deviated septum buzz is gonna
It's gonna pop off.
shake our listeners. Do we have any listeners?
Got quite a few.
We're growing, man. I can't believe we're at episode 4 already. Like this is
How
more
many
than I thought
sponsors
we'd
do we have?
We got, I think, Coca-Cola.
We got Manscaped. We got Manscaped already. We got that established. We got Better Health, the online therapy.
Oh, boy.
Indeed.com. You can't forget Indeed.com. O'Reilly's Auto Parts. We're getting the local brands involved here.
Tortilla Ria hit me
O'Reilly,
up. I heard I was
O'Reilly's
featured.
Auto Parts is not a local brand.
Oh, it's
Vic.
not. Damn, I'm thinking of
No.
EO Butcher Shop. I'm thinking of EO Butcher Shop in Rochester then. Listening to Spins games growing up. That's what I'm thinking about.
I feel like we're too dispersed to have like a local sponsor. That's the problem.
No, we're all from Rochester.
It's a Minnesota-based podcast, dude. Let me get
Nah.
Taco Jet. Let me get Taco Jet on the line here. They can sponsor.
Listen every Friday to our
Well-
podcast and get a short stack of ribs from Ye Old Butcher Shop.
Wolves Talk, brought to you by the Phoenix Burrito House.
All you have to do to win is support our podcast. $30 a week.
Easy. I'll start the Patreon. Start raking it in. All right,
I think
guys.
we need better. You need better sound equipment to be like getting ads and stuff. Nobody's gonna listen to you if it's like if it sounds like a phone call.
We'll cut that out. Don't let our sponsors hear that.
My
Dude,
editing software is insane, Ev. Don't worry about it.
Evan should have kept his background he started with, where it was literally just a black like.
I like
background
how it got
with his face
worse.
floating in
Your
the air.
your t-shirt blended in and all of a sudden. Did you turn on that?
Well, you was like halo effect around you.
It's a halo effect. I'm scared, dude. Like you really get
Hold up a hand, Evan. No, go back and hold up a hand.
Oh my god, bro, his hands
So-
like
I don't
floating.
understand.
Your face is way wider. Oh my god.
Right here, let me turn off my monitors.
God. This is like,
Oh, my god. All right. That's enough. This isn't a fucking horror podcast. No jump
Stop
scares.
talking about our sound equipment. We need fucking cameras, dude.
Yeah.
You need
the
to
video
attach a
quality.
disclaimer on YouTube.
Although I don't know if we get 4K webcams, there's other opportunities.
Oh, I think it's.
This is what my room looks like at night, guys.
You look like a ghoul, Ev.
Does your face shine like that?
Looks like you hop out of
Hi.
something that came out of your toilet.
A little off topic here.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right, guys. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming on, boys. We'll notify you if we need you again as a guest star.
I mean, dude, season's getting down to it. I'm sure if you guys are free, to have y'all on.
Just wait for my playoff picks.
Oh, I can't wait for playoff
Just
preview
wait.
April. No, yeah.
Yeah, Luka Doncic isn't a top 10 player.
All the way.
Oh man. All right. See you guys.
Real guys.
It's been fun.
Grigg and Rigg signing off.
The Grigg and Rigg Show signing off. Take care, everybody.